Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn because hip-hop's latest scandal makes Love and Hip Hop look like Sunday school. We're talking $120 million worth of betrayal, drama, and pure chaos. And at the center of it all, it's the most savage troll alive, 50 Cent roasting Rick Ross so hard. Florida might have to declare a state of emergency. Here's the tea. Big Meech, the legendary figure behind BMF, finds himself tied up in whispers of a massive $120 million mess. Rick Ross's boss image suddenly looks shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake, and 50 Cent, he's standing on the sidelines with a flamethrower, torching Ross's reputation one meme at a time. This isn't just beef. This is Wagga-level drama served raw. Picture Game of Thrones, but instead of swords and dragons, we've got lemon, pepper wings, lawsuits, and Instagram shade flying at Mach speed. The stakes, reputations, millions, and the crown of who controls the streets of hip-hop culture. And the internet, absolutely losing its mind. Memes, hashtags, conspiracy theories. You'd think TMZ and Twitter had teamed up to write the script themselves. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will make the Kardashians look boring and Wall Street scandals look like petty pocket change when it comes to drama. Hip-hop doesn't do subtle. Forget reality TV. This culture lives in full IMAX, surround, sound, and Dolby Bass. And right now, the scandal in the spotlight isn't about who dropped the hottest track or who's beefing over a verse. No. This one is dripping in dollar signs, betrayal, and shade so thick you could spread it on toast. Here's the setup. Big Meech, the mythical legend whose name echoes through hip-hop like a gospel hymn. His empire inspired BMF. His influence rewrote street culture, and his respect runs deeper than most rappers' bank accounts. But now Meech's name is being dragged into a circus involving Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed boss, and a jaw-dropping $120 million scandal. Enter 50 Cent, hip-hop's ultimate chaos conductor. The man doesn't just troll, he turns trolling into an Olympic sport. He doesn't just throw shade, he builds an entire solar system of it. And the moment whispers of Ross cheating Meech out of a fortune surfaced, 50 pounced like a lion spotting a zebra limping in the Serengeti. But let's rewind for a second. Rick Ross has built his entire brand on the boss persona. Wingstop franchises, flashy cars, sprawling mansions, silk robes, and a permanent T. Instagram filter of luxury. The man practically breathes lemon pepper seasoning. But luxury lifestyles demand credibility, and once rumors of financial scandal start swirling, that credibility evaporates faster than vodka shots at a Miami pool party. So what exactly is this scandal? Word on the digital streets is that Ross's business dealings, especially those tied to names like Big Meech, weren't as squeaky clean as his boss monologue suggested. Allegations began leaking like a broken faucet. Missing money, shady partnerships, and the mother of all bombshells, Meech allegedly getting cheated out of $120 million. Now, you don't just casually toss Big Meech's name into a scandal and walk away. His legacy isn't just important, it's practically sacred in hip-hop. To even imply that someone tried to finesse Meech is like accusing Michael Jordan of losing a game to a high school JV team. Fans were instantly enraged, suspicious, and frothing at the mouth for answers. Cue the internet. Twitter detectives cracked. Open imaginary case files. TikTok conspiracies popped off faster than dance trends. And Instagram comment sections turned into UFC octagons. Memes of Rick Ross holding Monopoly money went viral. Edits of Big Meech looking unimpressed flooded timelines. Of course, the loudest laugh came from none other than 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson doesn't miss an opportunity. If there's a scandal with even the faintest scent of chaos, you can bet he'll turn it into a 10-course meal. He jumped online, torching Ross with captions that made fans spit out their drinks. Posts like boss, or like employee of the month at Fraudco. Industries. The man had jokes flying faster than bullets in an action flick. And here's the thing, people ate it up. 'Cause when 50 Cent trolls, it's not just shade, it's content. He knows how to turn a scandal into trending news, how to transform whispers into explosions. Suddenly, the $120 million scandal wasn't just gossip. It was the conversation. But this wasn't just funny memes. For Big Meech's loyal fan base, this hit like betrayal. The man's legacy has been untouchable for decades, tied to power, respect, and cultural dominance. To hear his name linked to being cheated, finessed, or played by someone like Rick Ross, fans weren't just shocked, they were outraged. How dare anyone, especially a rapper who once had beef with 50 over the very idea of being the real boss, try to play Meech. And that's exactly where 50's genius lies. He didn't just roast Ross for laughs. He weaponized the scandal. He knew fans would rally around Meech, question Ross's credibility, and give him endless ammo to keep firing shots. It wasn't beef anymore. It was a $120 million war of reputations. The media jumped in too. Blogs like The Shade Room and Hip Hop DX plastered headlines everywhere. Rick Ross under fire over $120M Big Meech scandal and 50 Cent clowns Rick Ross amid allegations. Podcasts lit up, debates raged, and suddenly this wasn't just a hip-hop beef, it was a cultural earthquake. And while the public laughed at 50's trolling, Ross's silence was deafening. Sure, he posted his usual flexes, showing off cars, money, and Wingstop wings, but none of it drowned out the noise. If anything, fans started side-eyeing every post like it was part of the cover-up. Where's the $120 million, Rosé? Became a viral comment under every flashy upload. The scandal had legs. It wasn't just a single headline. It was fuel for weeks. And every new meme, every new post from 50, every new whisper about Meech only added to the wildfire. This wasn't drama you could scroll past. It was sticky, messy, and magnetic by the end of the first wave. Three things were crystal clear. Rick Ross's boss. Image was on life support. Big Meech's untouchable reputation was being dragged into dangerous territory. 50 Cent had just turned into the unofficial director of the biggest scandal of the year. And trust me, the storm was only just getting started. If you thought the $120 million bombshell was shocking, wait until you see how the fallout spiraled into absolute chaos. Because scandals in hip-hop aren't just scandals. They're full-blown Netflix sagas that come with celebrity cameos, internet hysteria, and memes that live forever. And this one, it escalated so fast it made Fast and Furious look like a Sunday stroll. The first twist came from the fans themselves. While some were ready to cancel Rick Ross faster than Quibi, others defended him, arguing that the boss wouldn't stoop to scamming. But here's the thing. When your empire is built on being the untouchable mogul, even a whisper of scandal feels like an earthquake. Suddenly, Ross's entire "I'm the biggest boss" brand looked less like Scarface and more like The Office with Michael Scott pretending to be a gangster. And you know who loved every second of it? 50 Cent. He wasn't just dropping memes anymore, he was orchestrating a digital demolition derby. He dug up old photos of Ross in a correctional officer uniform, reposted them with captions like, "How you a boss when you clocking in?" and reminded everyone of Ross's sketchy past. The scandal gave him fresh ammunition, and he unloaded it like it was Black Friday at the troll store. But then came the celebrity reactions, and oh boy, did they pour gasoline on the fire? Rappers like Meek Mill, who once rode with Ross under the Maybach music banner, suddenly found themselves cornered by fans asking for statements. Meek tried to sidestep it, tweeting vague lines about loyalty over money, but the internet wasn't having it. Screenshots went viral, with fans interpreting every emoji and period like it was a hidden confession. Meanwhile, other rappers chimed in with pure comedy. Boosie hopped on Instagram Live, laughing so hard he nearly choked on his blunt, $120 million. Man, Rose out here running a fire festival with extra seasoning. The clip went viral in minutes, becoming one of the defining memes of the scandal. Even celebrities outside hip-hop jumped in. Reality TV stars compared the drama to their own shows, with One Love and hip-hop alum tweeting, "Even we never pulled. A $120 million plot twist. Y'all wild." When even reality stars admit you've out-dramaed them, do you know you've hit legendary status? And of course, the internet was the real star of the show. Memes exploded everywhere. One had Rick Ross photoshopped as a cashier at Wingstop handing out change with the caption, "Your $120 million refund is in the fryer." Another showed Big Meech holding a calculator, glaring at Ross with the words, "Do the math, Rose." The creativity was savage, relentless, and absolutely hysterical. But the scandal didn't just live in memes. It started bleeding into serious debates. Hip-hop forums lit up with long essays about financial exploitation, about how Ross's boss image may have always been smoke and mirrors, and about how this could tarnish Meech's legendary reputation. Fans were drawing comparisons to Enron, Bernie Madoff, and even Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos. Imagine comparing Rick Ross to the woman who sold fake blood tests. That's how wild the discourse got. And in the middle of this hurricane, 50 Cent kept upping the ante. He hinted at having receipts, dropping cryptic posts that looked like screenshots of documents, bank slips, and contracts. Fans lost their minds. Was 50 about to leak proof of the $120 million scandal? Was he bluffing? The suspense had people refreshing his Instagram like it was Netflix autoplay. One post in particular broke the internet. 50 uploaded a fake flyer titled "Wingstop Scam Franchise Package. Invest $120 million. Hit lemon pepper dreams." The trolling was so outrageous, even people who hated him couldn't help but laugh. But beneath the comedy was a sharp blade. Ross's credibility was being roasted alive in front of millions by now. The scandal had officially become mainstream news. Outlets like Billboard, Complex, and The Breakfast Club covered it relentlessly. Charlemagne Tha God couldn't resist clowning Ross on air, saying $120 million. That's not boss behavior. That's scammer starter kit. The room erupted in laughter, but the impact was serious. Every headline chipped away at Ross's empire. And then came the second major twist. Whispers that Big Meech himself wasn't happy. Fans claimed there were private conversations where Meech allegedly told people to stop dragging his name through dirt. Some said Meech wanted Ross to fix it. Others claimed Meech was furious about even being linked to a scandal of this magnitude. Whether the rumors were true or not, the perception was enough. Fans started speculating that Meech might distance himself from Ross entirely. That single idea, Meech turning his back on Ross, sent shockwaves. Because if the man who inspired BMF and defined a generation of respect wasn't rocking with you, your boss image didn't just crack, it shattered. Meanwhile, Ross tried to push back with subtle flexes. He showed off new jewelry, new cars, and endless videos of himself eating wings in silk robes. But instead of admiration, fans flooded the comments. "That's Meech's $120 million necklace. Is that car financed with Big Meech's money?" His flexes backfired spectacularly, turning every post into another punchline. The outrage kept snowballing. Hashtags like hashtag ROZAY refund and hashtag 120million trended. TikTok creators reenacted fake courtroom trials where 50 Cent was the prosecutor, Ross was the defendant, and Big Meech was the judge. One viral skit had over 5 million views in a weekend. The scandal wasn't just news anymore, it was culture, embedded into timelines, group chats, and dinner conversations. By this point, the battle lines were clear. 50 Cent was thriving. Every post, every jab, every troll boosted his clout. Ross was drowning. His image was spiraling into meme territory. Big Meech was looming. His name carried too much weight. And everyone was waiting for him to make a definitive move. And then came the third twist: whispers of potential lawsuits. Fans speculated that if receipts were real, if money truly was mismanaged or lost, this wasn't just a meme war. It could spill into real courtrooms with subpoenas, depositions, and federal agents. Imagine that? Rick Ross versus $120 million allegations. Playing out on CNN while 50 Cent live tweets the whole thing. The thought alone had fans salivating. This scandal wasn't just escalating, it was mutating, evolving, feeding on itself like a monster. Every day brought a new meme, a new rumor, a new reaction. And instead of burning out, it only got hotter. Because the real question wasn't whether Ross cheated Meech. The real question was, what happens next when reputations, millions, and street credibility are all on the line? When the smoke finally started to settle, the $120 million scandal left behind, scorched earth, reputations torn apart, alliances fractured, and the hip-hop world looking like a Game of Thrones. It's a battlefield where everyone was fighting for the boss throne. The first major fallout. Rick Ross's image. For years, Ross built his empire on being the biggest boss. The untouchable mogul who could flex private jets and lemon pepper wings in the same breath. But after this scandal, that boss persona looked more like a parody character on Saturday. Night Live, the memes, the accusations, the whispers, they all chipped away at a carefully curated brand. Instead of luxury, fans saw liability. Instead of respect, they saw receipts. And what hurt even more was the fact that Ross wasn't just being roasted by random trolls. It was 50 Cent orchestrating the whole demolition. It's one thing when the internet clowns you. It's another when your lifelong rival is the one leading the charge, making sure your downfall trends every single day. 50 wasn't just exposing Ross. He was rewriting his legacy in real time, turning the boss into the loss. But Ross wasn't about to just fold. In true rap fashion, he tried to double down. He teased new music, hinting that he would address the haters in the booth. Fans immediately dubbed it the Refund album. Clips leaked of Ross recording lines about loyalty, betrayal, and fake friends. But instead of inspiring, it only fueled the jokes. Every bar was dissected, twisted into memes, and thrown back at him with savage captions. Meanwhile, Big Meech's shadow loomed larger than ever. Inside prison walls, whispers spread that Meech was fuming over his name being dragged through mud. Some insiders claimed he wanted no part of Ross moving forward. Others suggested he was plotting a statement that could flip the narrative. Imagine the tension. An incarcerated legend still powerful enough to make billion-dollar corporations nervous. Fans knew one word from Meech could either sink Ross completely or give him a lifeline. The suspense was unbearable, and while Meech's silence grew louder, the internet filled the gap. Theories exploded. Some fans speculated that Ross had used Meech's legacy to inflate his own wealth and connections. Others believed 50 Cent was exaggerating the scandal to finally kill Ross's relevance. Either way, the damage was done. Ross's name was no longer synonymous with power. It was tied to scandal, refunds, $120 million conspiracies. The ripple effects went beyond Ross. The hip-hop industry itself got dragged into the spotlight. Artists started rethinking their alliances. Some quietly unfollowed Ross on Instagram, while others distanced themselves publicly. Even business partners grew wary. Brands that once lined up to work with him started questioning whether associating with a scandal-tainted mogul was worth it. And then came the media circus. Every interview Ross gave, every appearance he made, was hijacked by the same question. Did you really scam Big Meech out of $120 million? It didn't matter what he was promoting: an album, a Wingstop flavor, or even a car show. The scandal overshadowed it all, lurking in the background like an unpaid bill. But while Ross scrambled, 50 Cent thrived. He used the scandal as fuel to promote his own projects, dropping subtle digs during BMF promo interviews. He turned the drama into marketing gold, proving once again why he's the undisputed troll king of hip-hop. Every joke, every meme, every jab elevated his brand while sinking Ross deeper into the quicksand. And the fans. They were eating it up like it was Thanksgiving dinner. TikToks reenacting fake depositions went viral. Twitter threads turned the scandal into digital novels. Instagram meme pages practically built careers off clowning Ross's alleged $120 million blunder. Even YouTube commentary channels cashed in, with videos titled Rick Ross's $120 million Nightmare Explained, racking up millions of views. But here's the kicker. As much as Ross was getting dragged, there was also an undeniable fascination. People couldn't look away. Scandal has a way of keeping its victims in the spotlight longer than success ever could. Ross went from a respected mogul to a walking punchline, but he was still the headline every single day. And in today's culture, attention even negative is currency still? The long-term consequences couldn't be ignored. Trust in Ross's business moves evaporated. Fans questioned whether his empire was built on smoke and mirrors. And with 50 Cent hammering away at every crack, felt like Ross's empire wasn't just shaking, it was collapsing. As for Big Meech, his silence became the most powerful move of all. By not speaking, he forced everyone else to speculate, argue, and debate on his behalf. His reputation remained untouched, while Ross's crumbled in the court of public opinion. It was poetic. The man behind bars was still untouchable. The man flaunting wealth was on trial in the streets of the internet. And then came the whispers of what's next. Would Meech cut ties officially? Would Ross drop a diss track aimed at 50 Cent? Would lawsuits actually materialize, dragging this from the meme world into real-world consequences? Nobody knew, but everybody wanted to. Because that's the beauty of scandals like this. They don't end. They evolve. They mutate into new narratives, fresh headlines, and even bigger explosions. What started as a rumor about $120 million turned into a cultural earthquake that shook the foundation of hip-hop. And the aftershocks, they're still coming. So in the aftermath of it all, one truth stood tall. 50 Cent once again proved he's the undefeated heavyweight champion of trolling. While Rick Ross walked away with an empire that looked less like Maybach music and more like Monopoly money, and Big Meech, he remained the legend whose name still carries more power than any scandal ever could. But don't get too comfortable, because if this saga taught us anything, it's that in hip-hop. Today's scandal is just the prequel to tomorrow's chaos. And there you have it, folks. The $120 million scandal that turned Rick Ross's empire into a discount clearance sale and gave 50 Cent the biggest comedy special of his career for free. I mean, come on. This drama makes reality TV look like a church service. The Kardashians wish they had this much chaos. And even Jerry Springer would have tapped out and said, yeah, this one's too messy for me. Too messy for me. But let's be real. You know, this saga is far from over. Rick Ross is probably in a studio right now trying to record the most offensive diss track of all time, while 50 Cent is already drafting the memes for when it drops. And Big Meech, he's just chilling in silence. He's probably sipping tea in prison while watching the internet rip these guys apart on his behalf. Now, here's where you come in. If you're still here, clearly you live for the drama. So don't play shy. Smash that like button like it owes you $120 million. Hit subscribe harder than 50 Cent hits an Instagram caption. And drop a comment below. Whose side are you on? Team 50 with the Savage Roast game, or Team Ross trying to hold on to that boss title while the internet calls him the Loss? And don't forget, scandals like this drop here all the time. You don't want to miss the next explosion, the next betrayal, the next viral meltdown. Stick with us and you'll always have front row seats to hip-hop's wildest roller coaster. This is Expose Express. Signing off with one last truth bomb. In the rap game, loyalty is rare, money is messy, and 50 Cent. He's still undefeated.